O pulso ainda pulsa. Peste bubônica, câncer, pneumonia. Raiva, rubéola, tuberculose, anemia. Rancor, cisticircose, cachumba, difteria. Encefalite, faringite, gripe, leucemia. E o pulso ainda pulsa.
In the 19th century Europe, where smallpox killed about 400,000 people a year, Englishman Edward Jenner revolutionized the disease prevention with a daring invention for the time, the vaccine. Although initially rejected by the society, it was later recognized and spread rapidly, arriving in Brazil in 1804, brought by the Marquis of Barbacena. Vaccines consist of stimulating a person's immune system by introducing biological substances into the person's body, teaching it to recognize it and fight bacteria and viruses in future exposures to disease. Vaccination ensures that the individual is protected against a particular disease and prevents it from continuing to spread throughout the population.
Jenner is known as the father of the vaccines, but the earliest vestiges of introducing dim versions of viruses into the body of people are related to smallpox fighting in the 10th century in China. The Chinese crunched the wounds of the disease and blew the dust, with the dead virus, on people's faces. Smallpox is considered eradicated by the World Health Organization since 1979, 1 year after the last case of the disease was recorded. Its end represented one of the greatest victories of public health, since the disease was one of the most devastating in history.
The doubt and conspiracy of the population against the vaccines is not recent. For example, around 1904, a popular anti-vaccine movement broke out in the city of Rio de Janeiro, the country's capital at the time. The reason of the revolt was the compulsory vaccination campaign imposed by the federal government against smallpox. This refusal to be vaccinated happened because a lot of people did not know what a vaccine was, and they were afraid of its effects.
Another possible link between the population revolt against the vaccine would be the fact that Brazil was experiencing a severe economic crisis, unemployment, inflation, and high cost of living, which dented any action taken by the government and also triggered conflicts and several points of vandalism by the capital of the country. On November 16, 1904, President Rodrigo Alves revoked the law of compulsory vaccination, putting the army, the navy, and the police in the streets to put an end to the riots.
DPT. The initials stand for diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus.
In 1982, the documentary DPT Vaccine Roulette was released. The film associated the triple bacterial vaccine that protects against diphtheria, tetanus and pertussis to brain damage. Since then, the suspicions about the vaccines expanded more and more. And in 1998, when the Dr. Andrew Wakefield published a paper in the prestigious scientific journal The Lancet, the speech became popular. He analyzed 12 children with autism, of whom 8 had the first symptoms of the syndrome only 2 weeks after taking the triple virus, which protects against mumps, measles, and rubella. According to Wakefield, their immune system came to a collapse after the vaccine's excessive stimuli to the immune system. Results: inflammation of the intestine that would carry toxins to the brain. The paper have appeared in newspapers and TVs all over the world.
But slowly, Wakefield began to be unmasked. A number of investigations found out that the volunteer children in the study had been appointed by a law firm that wanted to file lawsuits against the pharmaceutical industry. In 2010, The Lancet withdrew the study from its website. In the same year, the British Medical Council revoked Wakefield's license and he could no longer attend patients in the UK. But even with Wakefield denied, the matter began the strengthening of the anti-vaccine movement. For example, in 2013 in the United States, 189 people were diagnosed with measles, which was already eradicated for 15 years. To control the damage, several states did not allow student enrollment without the complete immunization portfolio presentation. The new position of the American Academy of Pediatrics, which authorizes pediatricians to now receive unvaccinated children in the office, to contain a possible infection of unvaccinated children because they are allergic or immunosuppressed, is another attempt.
The antiviral movement were the government and a survey commissioned by the Ministry of Health found that the average vaccination in Brazil was 18.4%, while in Class A it was 76.3%. According to Jarbas Barbosa, Secretary of Health Surveillance on the Ministry of Health, this drop was due precisely to parents who chose not to vaccinate their children. He cited cases of measles that occurred in 2011 in Vila Madalena, west of São Paulo, which began with a non-vaccination child and the option of the family and you hitched a child under 1 year of age, signing on after that age is the vaccine.
Although the movement does not have enough strength in Santa Catarina, some isolated cases happen. For example, a couple in Garopaba were forced to vaccinate their children after refusing to do so. According to the prosecutor Fabiana Mara Silva Wagner, this argument would require a well-founded scientific foundation, or a doctor would need to contraindicate the vaccine, which was not the case.
Although the Medical and Scientific Society have already contested Wakefield's paper, what it says is still running through our nowadays society. That's the problem with fake news and pseudoscience. The lie is still running even though it has been shown as a lie. The vaccines are a method of popular health prevention, and it contemplates even the ones that are not able to take them. Babies, seniors, and sick people, for example. People who are immunized creates a barrier for the viruses or bacteria, which are not able to reach the unvaccinated ones. If a group of people do stop taking the necessary vaccines, they will open a space in this barrier, and the disease will spread successfully. It was already proved that the vaccines has nothing to do with autism or any psychological condition. Yes, it has collateral effects, but they are minimal compared to what they are preventing. Please, vaccinate yourselves, your children, and your future children. This is a public health matter.